Okay, you're on.
Am I audible? Do I sound like you can hear me clearly?
Why can't you see me?
I can't see you too well, but I can hear you.
Wave your hand. Yes, I see you move. I see you move. It worked. Nobody moved. Nobody moved from wherever they are. Everybody, all of you are in the right place.
So this is take 13 of Stories with Shastri. I just realized I've been doing this for more than a month now. It's nice to, have that kind of routine, I suppose. It's been quite interesting. Been learning with every experience, and yeah, it's fun. Today I have Love coming on board. LUV MAHTANI is a ukulele teacher. He also works with a lot of other collectives, which is So Far Sounds, which is an example. He's a co-city leader with that one, and Indie Find. And today we're going to discuss the ukulele. We're going to discuss the ukulele, the indie music scene, and all kinds of things. Yes, I'm glowing. I just took a shower. Look at this. But yeah, and I'm just waiting for Love to come on board. I don't know if he's here yet. But yeah, if you've gone for gigs around Pune, I'm pretty certain you've seen him around. He's always there, supporting almost every artist I know, and it's really nice to have someone who does that. And Love is here. I can't see you.
Hello.
Hey, hi.
What's up? Oh
Yeah.
man, I so nicely set up my camera and everything, and I realized that my top half will
Yeah,
be cut
same.
off
That's what I did.
because.
That's why I went behind, like subtly, and now it's gone. So now the subtleness has got away from all of that.
Right.
How you doing?
If I go any further, you won't be able to hear me too clearly. So I think my weirdly shaped head right now can actually spare it anyway.
Can you place your phone farther away?
I can. I'm just a little worried you won't be able to hear me too well if I go any further.
Okay. No, I think I can.
Is this
I think
fine?
Can the people listening hear us? Can you guys hear us?
For the people listening, I wanted to, I've known you for years. We worked together on a few projects here and there. And
Right.
I want them to know who you are, what you do. So if you could just tell us a little bit about that.
For sure, yeah. So my name is Love. I have been living in Pune all my life, and I think I was always interested in making something out of the music industry in general, and pretty much everything I did up until now, except for a few detours that were just there because I wasn't thinking straight, have been related to music. And now I teach music, I curate music on online platforms, and I also program for and lead the So Far Sounds Pune team. The main thing I do right now is run my classes of the name Ukulele with Love, and I have a website and different social media channels where you can follow and find a lot of content related to the ukulele and the stuff that we as the Indian ukulele community do with it.
You recently digitized your analog analog tapes, not podcasts, one thing podcasts, analog tapes and cassettes.
Yes, I call it tape shit.
Yeah, I love it. I think it was really nice. I saw it and I said, I saw some Beyonce out there in my head for some reason.
I've had like 100+ cassettes, and I also have about 50+ CDs. I've not digitized my CD collection yet. That's for another week, for another Sunday.
Oh wow, I can't wait for what comes out of that. I want to listen to the playlist.
I love your playlist, by the way. Thank you for sending me a link sometime back. I am in love with a song from that playlist that I want to play for you as a thank you for reminding me it exists.
Oh wow, we'll do that. We'll do that towards the end. So for those of you who just joined, this is LUV MAHTANI. If you have any questions for him, he teaches how to play the ukulele. He programs So Far Sounds Pune. He works on a lot of other things, and he has a brilliant music collection. It's ridiculous how good it is. And he's one of the people who really go out and support the indie music scene, especially in Pune, which is very refreshing to see. And I recently shared a playlist with him, which is called Valium to Adderall, because of the energy boost that it is. So tell me a little more about when was the first time you picked the ukulele? When you picked it up?
So, I was always interested in the instrument since college days. I had discovered it through YouTube. I think ukulele just had this whole 21st century revolution because of YouTube and all the people that were picking it up and making pop song covers and whatnot. And one of the songs that really was pretty popular out there was this virtuosic ukulele player called Jake Shimabukuro, who's from Hong and he has a Beatles cover of While My Guitar Gently Weeps, but he plays it as While My Ukulele Gently Weeps. And that just got very, very famous. And then, of course, you have Hey Soul Sister by Train, and you have your I'm Yours and Somewhere Over the Rainbow ukulele covers everywhere. So I just thought, why not? And I didn't find it anywhere. I wasn't very trusting of online transactions back then. No one really Amazon stuff thinking that it would come in one piece. But Furtado's had a good quality ukulele a little later on. Somewhere in my second year of my college, I picked it up. Didn't even have my own source of income, got my mom to pay for it. Yeah, I think it's been about 6 years now that I've been playing it.
That's a long time, man. That's a
I know,
really,
right?
really long
I feel like after all this time, have really found the time to pause, to reflect, and to see that I've been playing for 6 years and I need to play better than this, just for the sake of my own, satisfaction that I can be and do better than this in terms of my playing ability. And I've been practicing every day. I mean, everyone has the time to improve on skills or to what do you say, self-evaluate in whatever ways they want to take their life ahead. And I'm just trying to use that as a distraction to be more productive, or being more productive by using that as a distraction.
Well, whatever works, I guess. What
Yeah.
made you start teaching the ukulele?
Fun story. I was in the middle of a job that I didn't care too much about, and I was just randomly looking for ukulele teachers online, thinking that I could possibly learn a little more if I had someone who could mentor me. I really just believe in there being someone out there, just as a figurehead telling you what needs to be done. More than that, just checking up if you are following up on it. I had guitar training in school, and I had tried teaching the guitar to some people around me. I even taught it to some of the beginners in my own class when I was on a higher level in my playing ability. My sir would let me just conduct some classes and told me that this would be good for your experience. If you were to teach others, you would learn better. And I just took that to heart, and I didn't do much about it after that. But when I picked up the ukulele, learned it, and found that there was no teacher out there. Quora.com had a question by some random person asking, hey, are there any ukulele teachers there? I said, I literally stumbled upon here with the same question in mind, but here's my email address. I feel like I've taught myself, because I have guitar training, enough to be able to teach you a few weeks worth of basics. That person never got in touch with me, but other people found my email address and got in touch with me. And one day I quit my job, didn't know what to do, saw a couple of those emails, like, you know what, why not? I could use a side income. I got a student on. I started teaching from my friend's living room because I thought teaching in my own home would not bring that kind of seriousness into me taking this more professionally and actually seeing it through. I got Hina, you know Hina, from Orchestrated Quirks and from Storyteller Studio, by the way. She started a new venture as well, creative writing and workshops. She lent me her living room space for me to take classes one-on-one with my first student. And yeah, that just led to 3 to 5 to a couple of dozen now in the last 2 years.
Oh wow, that's a long list, and I'm glad you finally did. And it's strange how people just found your email ID out of a Quora answer.
I mean, when there is a need and there is only one or two sources, I've been lucky to just be one of that. What do you call that? I won't even. I won't even be modest about it. It's one of those first movers advantage. There, no one else was really teaching the ukulele in Pune anyway. Maybe one or two people that I had heard of. And there are at least now 3 more ukulele teachers in Pune that I know of. But that's after this 2 years of having taught and just randomly discovering people here and there.
Yeah. I didn't know that there were more. I knew there was one more that I'd heard of,
Right.
but I thought
Right.
that was somewhere in NIBM or something, or Baner, one of the two.
Yes. I don't remember their name. They're in NIBM Barnet. I think they're just doing one of those one-on-one, but nothing as a structured class that has been advertised much, because I would have heard about it by now if they were advertising themselves as a proper class or an institute or something. And someone who's in Pimpri Chinchwad, actually, more towards the Ravit side.
Oh, that's quite nice. Okay, for those of you who just joined, please feel free to ask questions to Love about the ukulele, about the indie music scene, about anything you want, about making your playlists on Spotify or digitizing them. We have a question. How
Oh,
different
yeah,
is it
sorry.
from playing a guitar?
Okay, so I will whip this one out to give you a little bit of a live demonstration. This, by the way, is my latest ukulele. I think I have about 4 by now in the last 6 years of playing. And this has been one of my favorite. The ukulele actually is a Hawaiian instrument, which is almost 120 years old now, which is comparatively, in a retrospect, a much newer instrument than your guitar or your piano, which are easily 500 plus years old, in different versions and variations, of course. The ukulele is a smaller body because when a acoustic instrument, an instrument that is dependent on sound being produced through strings that reverberate in a sound box, in a hollow wooden box like this, the bigger the box, the deeper the sound will come out of the strings that you're playing. And because the ukulele has such a small body, it's a very high-pitched instrument. You can hear it right now. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the screen, then my actual fretboard, and I'm getting confused what's happening. But, and this has been my constant in doing online classes now. I'm like, do I look at the webcam and see if I'm pointing my ukulele correctly, or do I look down? It can get a bit confusing. I'm still getting used to that. But yeah, the general idea is that it's a higher pitched instrument with 4 strings instead of 6 like you would have on the guitar. And it has nylon, it has like synthetic nylon strings, like a mix of synthetic material and nylon rather than the steel um, alloy strings that you find on the guitar. So it has a more softer sound, and it's just a much more approachable instrument. You can have very small frets that can be difficult to play for someone with big fingers, but you can always find your way around.
And because it's deeper sound, aren't the notes separate? Like, in comparison to how it would be on the guitar?
So it's a Western, it's a Western instrument in general. It will follow the same Western music theory that a guitar or a violin or a piano would. It's just that although it's on a higher pitch because of the shape and the size of the body and the way it is tuned, you will still find like the higher end, second half, like for the nerds out there who know about the guitar, 5th fret of a guitar onwards, and all the notes that you find on the last 4 strings of a guitar are the same tuning as the ukulele. That's G, C, E, A. Good children eat apples. That's what I say. That's the mnemonic to remember the 4 string names. Um, and yeah, and you can possibly play the same kind of stuff on the ukulele in that pitch and in that tuning if you were playing it from the 5th fret onwards on a guitar. It's just that it won't completely sound the same because 2 different instruments do have 2 different tonal qualities. Even if you try to match the pitch, I can match the pitch with my voice of my ukulele. Yes, how high I can hit a note, but you can still tell that's a human voice and that's a ukulele sound. So.
That's interesting. So someone just asked whether you only teach beginners.
So I have a beginner's course and an intermediate course. I have been teaching in camp and in Koregaon Park. And fun fact, I was going to start classes in Senapati Bapat Road as well, which now didn't work out. But I am now teaching online full time. It's very funny that I've been making my income through sitting on my bed in my room, because the lighting is the best on my bed in my room, and that's where I place my laptop and just spend my day taking classes back to back. I teach beginners and intermediates, and I feel like I'm an advanced level player learning advanced theory myself. I have a teacher now as myself. He's a guitarist. You might know him, Vinay Kaushal from Funkatrix and NP Cafe. I just randomly asked him if he would teach me theory, and it actually ended up becoming Skype lessons where he's also teaching me improvisation techniques, because the same thing. I told him, hey, could you show it to me? It would just be from the 5th fret onwards on your guitar. And whatever he's teaching me is from the 5th fret onwards on his guitar, which I'm translating immediately onto my ukulele. And I'm learning an advanced, like I'm learning what the advanced concepts are that I am interested in, that I want to learn. and that when I feel I'm comfortable with, will start teaching it as well. So yes, my class is not only for beginners. If you've learned a little bit on your own, we can do an assessment and figure out where you stand, and we can take it from there rather than starting from the very scratch. If you feel like you're already comfortable with, like, your first 4 chords and some amount of theory.
Right. We have another question. How to go about teaching yourself the ukulele? I've been trying to learn, but I'm not aware of the method that needs to be followed. Is there any? Can you give some pointers for beginners?
Lovely. So I would say there's a lot of information online that can lead you from point A to point B, or even from point A to point Z in learning everything that you need. You just need to find the right people to help. Right. So I'm available even if you feel like doing a regular weekly commitment to having a class, or you're not very comfortable with doing online classes because of the internet, or just you feel it's not very personal to do it through a webcam. If you're learning by yourself, you're still going to find two-dimensional sources of books or PDFs or YouTube videos to follow as well. But here you will have actually someone watching you, giving you actual real-time human feedback in what is going right or wrong with your playing. And also, I literally have a checklist of all the things that I think one should cover as a beginner.
Aditi, I hope that answers your question. And if you're interested in.
I actually just want to round that up by saying learn your theory. Music theory can be so helpful in learning every instrument in the Western music instrument realm. Definitely be more thorough with what the notes are and what the scales and chords mean and why do you play what you play. It really helps in the long run.
Right. So for those of you who just joined, we are on with Love, and I'm doing this too often, but I just want people to know that, you have to ask questions about the ukulele, about the music scene, about everything you can think about. So how would you explain the ukulele to a layperson in the sense of why they should learn it?
So I would explain ukulele from very ergonomical and what do you say, convenient, a point of convenience that you can look at the ukulele as a good tool or a vehicle for you to understand music, and also to possibly use it as an instrument, as an accompaniment to your singing. If you feel like you're very interested in singing and performing on stage, but you're always dependent on another musician or a karaoke track, I think the ukulele is a very welcoming and a non-intimidating instrument to start your learning with. A lot of people who tried the guitar or the piano and gave up can immediately see how much simpler it is the ukulele to pick up. And for someone who's never touched an instrument, if they try the ukulele, they can still learn a simple song in a matter of minutes. And that can just be a lot of encouragement in making you feel like, yes, you can do this. It's not beyond your skill level or your imagination that you can't do music, you are tone deaf, or you have no inclination towards doing music well. I find that it's small, it's convenient to carry around, and it's not that expensive as well. A decent quality ukulele is for 3,000. And whenever it's possible for you to order it online, if you're in a green zone or orange zone, I would be very happy for you to give it a shot.
Well, that's good to know. What is the difference between teaching the ukulele or just teaching a musical instrument to an adult versus teaching a child?
So I'll be honest, a lot of my marketing, a lot of my word of mouth and social media presence has come through people who are in my age group, and my network, who's mostly my age group. There's not too many people who are 15 or under, and not too many people who are 40 or over. So that has just been the kind of demographic I've dealt with as students as well. I have maybe had 4 students who were above 40 and maybe 7 or 8 students who were below 15 in the last 2 years of teaching. What little I know, and I don't feel like I have experienced enough of teaching both demographics, I can only tell what it is to teach a 20-something adult who has a job and is most probably affording those classes on their own income. That's my basic demographic in general. When it comes to children, it's been a couple of things. I have also learned to just try and modify and adjust my own behavior and my own method of teaching, especially when it comes to kids. There have been kids who have been very shy and meek, but very interested and very dedicated to learning. And I would say that in a lot of my students, even if they're watching right now, will agree one of my, and I'm particularly talking about one of my prodigal students who I can't believe is my student because she passed my my beginner and my intermediate course and started teaching herself through online sources and has been doing so incredibly well. That it gave me the kind of hope that yes, teaching children can actually be a very rewarding experience. You're actually trying and imparting this knowledge, this skill, and just this appreciation for music to the future generation, which I feel is too much of a responsibility which I've had to deal with and learn to accept that yes, this is something I can take on, that I can be ready to do, and hopefully share with children as well. On the very other hand, I've had children who have just been there for the sake of possibly wanting to do something fun, do something that's a little bit of a stress buster from the general load of ICSE and international board school. Oh my God, the kind of stuff they have to do now to just survive as a seventh grader uh, is quite a lot. And yes, there have been some who have come here for the fun of it and don't really care to learn too much about different playing styles and theory. They're just there to strum and have a good time. Some of them are possibly just running around the class being a havoc. Like, oh my God, how do I tell them to just calm down when you've come here to learn something fun? So why not put some time and effort into doing it?
Isn't it like they're on a sugar rush of some kind?
Exactly. I'm like, "Look, you've come here to learn music. It's already fun. It's not like you're trying to avoid something difficult."
Oh, but children are so precious, man. It's
They are for sure. I mean, one of my cutest students, that student would come if I was like, if I was standing outside or something taking a phone call, would take the whiteboard marker and start doodling me with the ukulele in my hand on the board. And I just thought it was the cutest thing. But I would still have to tell her, please go sit down and practice your C and F chords.
right.
Your mom is paying me for a reason.
Oh, that's. But I'm sure it's quite delightful to some
It,
extent.
in its own way, it is, yes, for sure. And I still am trying to learn and find it not very easy to be the kind of teacher who can be stern and uh, discipline someone to just sit down and focus on what work has been given to them in hand. I have mostly dealt with adults, so adults can be self-motivated that way. And I have had adults who would not come to a class prepared with anything they did the last class. And for them, it can be still a little nuanced and a little sarcastic. Like, yes, yeah, that's what I told you to do last class, right? not to practice anything. But with children, you have to literally, possibly sometimes be very stern and tell them, listen, you are not passing this class. I've literally had to tell one student to go stand outside, and I can't believe I was my sixth grade, like I was my sixth standard teacher. I hated that teacher who used to tell me to go stand outside, but like I would misbehave, and one of my students used to misbehave a lot in class. It was like a year ago or something. But fun experience in itself, just trying to understand how to be an adult and how to be that kind of a person as a teacher as well, which is sometimes required, I feel.
It is.
I mean, the boundaries can be rather blurry that way when you're trying to teach someone who's a friend or a family member. And I tend to make good friends with my students, possibly after they've passed out, and we still stay in touch in any capacity, because I'm still trying to create some kind of a professional distance with them while they're my students. But all of them are in their mid 20s, like me as well, and we always, in some or the other way, share a laugh about things on a more informal level even during a class. It's nice. It's nice to know that not just people who, after having graduated college and being in their mid 20s with all the stresses of life, and you know what I'm talking about, find it not very easy or don't really just find the time to go out there and make new connections with people and to make new friends. They're just stuck onto the same school or college friends that they've had forever. And people grow, and people sometimes even grow out of each other. And there can be phases of not having too many friends around you because of n number of reasons. But something like just being in a twice a week kind of a frequent routine and meeting other people who are in that grind with you, trying to learn and try to be better as musicians, or any kind of art form or skill that you want to learn. It just creates that kind of peer togetherness, and I love that a lot of them have made friends with each other. They keep hanging out outside of class and posting stories and encouraging each other when they post a cover of them playing the ukulele. And I just feel proud when I see my students putting up Instagram videos or YouTube videos of them performing. I'm like, oh my god! Like,
Yeah, of course.
it's like seeds. It's like seeds you sow over 2 years,
Yeah.
and now you're seeing them having the confidence after this amount of time has passed and being good enough to want to show it to the world. It also just feels nice to call them my own friends as well. After having spent enough time, I feel like we also just become friends like ourselves.
Right. So there's a growing stereotype around the world about how anyone who plays the ukulele and drinks that tea is basic.
Okay.
So what's your take on something?
So there's a whole Instagram phenomenon of the ukulele girl. Like, just it is very easy, I feel, for a girl to pick up a ukulele and sing a pretty song and get a lot of views and viral fame than it is for a guy. I've been trying for years now. I feel like I've been fairly successful in the Pune community, but like no cover pages on Instagram are featuring my work. Then again, I've not really put a lot of music that I play or I write up for people to consume as much as I keep posting pictures and videos of my students and friends. Shout out to Nida, and I think I saw Radhika also join in for a second. I don't know if they're still around. But yeah, I about it being basic, I think anything that gets trendy gets also stereotyped and also gets cliche. There was a huge cliche about just the idea of what is that thing everyone was really into. What is that other music kind of trend that everyone was trying? Oh yeah, everyone was trying to pick up a kalimba and play that and do those "Can't Help Falling in Love with You" covers. And there's still that guy who till date is posting videos of him doing songs on the tongue drum or the kalimba that you call it with his dog around. It didn't really catch on to the point of people teaching it everywhere, especially not in Pune. But somehow the ukulele just became this accessible, oh, guitar is too big and intimidating. This is cuter and
Smaller,
everyone around me is
simple.
doing it. So it seems like something that even I could give a shot. I don't mind it. These kinds of stereotypes perpetuate visibility. Visibility perpetuates interest and a possible uh, Google search to find. So,
And an eventual question.
yep.
So when you talk about how something becomes a trend like that, what do you think makes an indie artist a pop artist? Like,
Oh, fun! We're going into talking about music curation. Perfect. So I have been a big fan of and just find just so much potential and just so much heart and genuine drive and passion that the Indian independent music sphere has, and that entire niche of all these artists that I'm so happy and proud to call my friends. A lot of them that I've known from an acquaintance or a professional or even a personal friend kind of a background. Um, could you repeat your question again? What is it that you were phrasing?
my question is basically, what do you think makes an indie artist become a pop artist?
Okay, so it's a very subjective question because the question, first of all, for anyone who doesn't even understand the basic the basic divides between genres, and really, when I use the word divide, I use it so loosely because more and more music right now in the 21st century is just becoming a big mesh and hybrid of each other. Nothing seems like it's 100% pop or 100% indie. What is pop and what is indie is the first question to really give an answer, which I still feel like I struggle to articulate. I can hear it and I can tell you what I feel it is, and a lot of people will agree and some won't. But when it comes to articulating it, I think indie just comes from a not just a sphere of something that is non-Bollywood or non-film music. Something that's indie can be a different set of things. One could be just the idea of something that has been completely written, executed, played, and produced, and even possibly recorded and mastered by the artists themselves. Like literally, bedroom pop is an entire genre in itself, which I really love. I mean, again, bedroom pop is not just about being in your bedroom recording at home by yourself. It could be a lot more than that, but that feeling of, oh, this is intimate. It sounds like something that was conceptualized just in a intimate indoor space. You can just hear it and you know that. That kind of indie is my favorite. There's other types of indie where it's the sound of it being kind of rough around the edges, a little bit taking a certain idea of what pop is or what rock is or what jazz is and turning it on its head. That is also a very indie idea, which people also tend to call alternative. But what makes an indie artist pop artist, I think, would really depend on a couple of factors in my head, at least, in what I understand of it. First would be if there is a jump in your quality of the kind of songs you're writing and the songs that you're producing and putting out there, possibly having more visibility. Pop is popular. If you are a pop artist and doing the kind of sound that is easily recognizable, easy to groove to, and just has that quality of something that you've heard before, but still entertaining, because good pop is a big recycling of everything you've ever heard before, but executed in a way that you still find enjoyable. There is a lot of pop music out there which is not subjectively very good, and people have difference of opinions on what they think is a good pop song or a bad pop song. But I think if you can execute it in a way that's interesting to its audience, then yeah, it is good. I've in many instances defended someone like even as hated as a Justin Bieber or Ariana Grande, saying that I subjectively feel this particular song by this artist is really good. Also for the sake that he wasn't the only one writing it. There are other very talented, hardworking musicians who've put the effort into making the song what it is. Appreciate that too and see that pop music can be good. Even the biggest names in pop music can have some really good songs that are worth enjoying, and not to just shun them as being mainstream and overdone. Indie artists getting into pop also can really depend on if they get that kind of a big break on possibly getting a producer that's well known or a kind of release and distribution that is put on billboards or the kind of NH7 or even bigger than that, maybe some international festival visibility and opportunities as well. Like everyone thought Pratik Kuhad was an indie singer-songwriter singing songs like, and he has a really nice ukulele song, which is why I took a genuine interest in Pratik Kuhad in the beginning. It's called Savera actually. Check out Savera by Pratik Kuhad. It's not on Spotify. He never released it as an official single. It's just on YouTube somewhere.
Okay.
But I think his trajectory is the perfect example of going from indie to pop. Then again, he's doing what he's doing. It has not changed drastically. He's not gone from someone doing singer-songwriter to doing a lot of film music and electronic dubstep influences and all of that. None of that phased him or in any way, broke his mold. But I think what really made him pop was visibility. I think visibility is what can turn indie to pop.
Yeah, suddenly all the people I knew who, who did not know anything beyond movies, I mean, music that comes out of the movies, who was singing chorus.
Right. Exactly. And one big thing about pop also is that it's one thing to try and do what others do and execute it well and execute it in a way that's unique to you so that people relate to it. Relatability is a big factor. And the fact that they actually see something in themselves see something in you that they also see in themselves. I feel like a good pop artist is someone whose songs you feel like you want to try covering or you just like singing it. Any kind of an artist who has a very tough song that they have put out there for me to be able to cover or sing, I will not possibly pay as much attention, but if it's a simple song that carries a tune, which I possibly can manage to sing as well, and I enjoy it because I'm like, oh, I can actually sing this song. And it's a simple tune that just sounds like something familiar I've heard before. That also can really translate well. Someone like maybe a Lady Gaga out there, not that she was an indie artist, she was a pop artist trying to be a big pop star. But I think when you can be genuine in yourself and take ideas that you may have heard before, but present them in a way that is so you, that you make people believe that they should relate to this. Who wanted to relate to Bad Romance when it came out? It was just so well done. It was just so fresh that people started, the zeitgeist and the culture started to mold itself to what Bad Romance is idea is. Like, I don't think someone like a Billie Eilish with doing as much of weird, crazy, morbid stuff that she does as a visual artist as well through her music videos would be that well received if someone like a Lady Gaga hadn't paved the way. And before Lady Gaga, if a Madonna hadn't paved the way. But this is me talking about my experience of what I think of pop music in the Western and international sense. Coming back to Indian indie, I see someone like a Karshini Nair has joined in. I don't know if she's still around. If she saw she joined. I'm sorry?
Yatharth also just
Oh my God, Karshini, Yatharth, hi. I hope you all are still around listening. When I talk about the idea of going from indie to pop and mainstream and visibility and just trying to find a bigger base that believes in the music that you make, I talk about artists like you. I love you guys. I just wanted to give a shout out.
Yeah, same. I love both of them so much. I've seen them from literally from when they were. There was this point where Kashmir had to and then I saw her come to this, and Yatharth I know from school.
Right.
I love them very much. So moving on.
Right.
What do you think is different about the way indie music is created and consumed? You know, over the past 5 years. What has changed?
It's funny, you know. I feel like it's funny when I first thought of this idea. I remember us talking about what all we'd be discussing, and you told me that this would be one of the things that you'd like to try and touch upon. I thought, is 5 years too short a time? Should we make it 10 years? And then I actually went through my music playlist and I realized, no, a lot more has happened in the last 5 years than the 10 years. It feels like 10 years to 5 years ago, that matter of, say, 2005 to 10, sorry, 2010 to 15, was still quite plateaued. 15 to 20 has exploded. I mean, some of the answers are obvious. A lot of people interested everywhere, all around the country, in more live music experiences. Something like an NH7 and Supersonic, and even so far, for that matter, in its own sense of doing intimate shows, nothing too big or festival-like, but still something that makes you appreciate the idea that India has talent. Sorry, sounds like a plug for the TV show. But yeah, in that, getting to get more people to listen to that kind of music and realize there's a lot more out there than just Bollywood. But I cannot not appreciate and acknowledge all the artists who make it big enough and also take on the opportunity to possibly risk their indie cred to become kind of mainstream by taking on film music. My biggest example here that we all can literally at the count of 1, 2, and 3, Bande by Indian Ocean. So many people, because they heard it in that movie, got so hooked onto Indian Ocean that decided to go to their concerts.
I had no
I'm
idea.
sorry? I had no idea. What? Let me educate you, huh? Bande was. I love Indian Ocean to death. I knew of them before they were on Black Friday. Black Friday is the name of this indie movie. I can't remember anything about the movie, but I know that Bande became very popular because of that movie. And also the fact that it just gave people a lot of indie musicians also like, oh wow, if someone can make it big by becoming part of a Hindi movie soundtrack, then should possibly try to put more effort and time and just try to move in that direction, hoping for there to be a brighter future in this industry. I feel like a lot of artists may have taken some amount of inspiration from that. Not the inspiration that, oh, I will make it big if I come into a movie soundtrack. No, that it can be that an independent artist can get recognition and like stadium full audiences and whatnot. I remember going to Mood Indigo and watching Indian Ocean, and people were crazy. And I'm like, these college students would have never heard of these 50-something guys who have been playing for almost 20 or 30 years now. But something like this again just proves that visibility in that sense can really really make a big difference.
Agni is an They had the song.
Agni is an example for sure, and Raghu Dixit as well. Raghu Dixit has done some more lesser-known indie movies, but even his exposure into, if you're on a screen, I think even if you have a great music video that people will remember, like Euphoria, come on, Euphoria was not meant for or known for being film music popular. They were known for those really well-made music videos that Channel V and MTV India just blasted every day of it.
Yeah, even Lucky Ali.
Oh, for sure. Lucky Ali had a very polarizing and a very interesting career in doing both indie and
Pop music.
film music. Yeah,
Film music. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've had the honor and privilege to be able to photograph Agni, Indian Ocean, and Ukraine, and talk to them about it. They're such lovely people, and it's quite interesting to see how there were there was a time where there was a very small demographic that knew of them, or
Right.
religiously followed them, and now it's finally at a point where you have a stadium just for them.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the indie music community, like the people who consume Indian music, are becoming elitist in nature?
Are becoming elitist in nature.
Yes, pertaining to just the music.
Very interesting question, man. I'll have to think about this, but my initial thought, and it's kind of unrelated but also very much topical, is all this banter and all of this debate going on the social media that I'm seeing every now and then about how people are judging and wrongly judging an app like TikTok, saying that the content over there can be very cringy, can be produced by people that they wouldn't want to in any way interact with in real life. And a lot of people are then are answering back by saying that just sounds very elitist. You are finally getting to see an app booming and giving a platform to a lot of people from a class that is not the same as yours. Maybe is not a class that is as well privileged and fortunate as yours, but is still giving them a device and a tool to express themselves creatively and just have a laugh, honestly.
Yeah.
I see nothing wrong in that. After reading these debates and just kind of agreeing with the points of the people that said that it is rather elitist to think that TikTok is cringy only because of the people that make the content on there. Because so much good content has now come on TikTok because people are starting to see how this could possibly be the future of social media, that there's some really good content to follow as well. I joined TikTok. I'm calling this particular public interview my coming out of of talking about the fact that yes, I'm a TikTok user and I am rather addicted, and I think there's a good future there. Ukulele with Love, my platform, is going to go on TikTok soon enough. I think there's a real future in trying to push my ukulele content and all the people who have performed at the Strum Away events to even possibly find a place and some viewership on TikTok. I think it could really sell.
Right, but then what do you think?
Sorry, coming back. I have a point here. When your general outlook towards life is that you will only interact with, consume art of, and in any way have anything to do with people who are either at your social level or class level or above, you might not even know it, but it could be something that is out there, that kind of internalized classism. Is when you are, it can translate very well into the music you hear as well. Oh, that music is cool because it takes influences from the kind of Western music I like, from the white people that I listen to all the time. And I don't care for Hindi pop, they're talking in a language that I barely speak into my friends. Sorry for this bad Sobo girl impersonation, but I know you get my point.
Yeah. No, so what I'm talking about, this cartoon that was going around saying that if they ever had to divide us or put us in jail, please put me in a place where I'm with the same people who like the genres that I like.
I get that. You will definitely connect with and relate to, and also possibly find a sort of kinship with people who have similar tastes to you. I find a kinship to people who are Sindhi like me, which is my caste. Not because I feel like we have similar points in terms of the language we speak or the upbringing we've had, or the fact that, oh, you and I are from the same caste, so you're good and others are bad. Nothing like that. It's the point that I love to relate on with any other Sindhi person that I meet in a social situation, is to ask them, how did your community screw you up like they screwed me up?
I'm sorry, God.
Let's bitch.
Something I'm trying to understand. Like, for example, with my previous question about artist becoming a pop artist, I had him in mind. when I did that. But then there's also, I remember people going like, oh, Pratik is too pop now. So I don't want to listen to him.
I think, see, after you become someone as big as a Pratik Kuhad, I think Pratik must be dealing with these demons, and I get it. I see it by just listening to interviews and hearing the personal perspectives of a lot of musicians that I like. Some who have shared it with me directly, and some who possibly share it through their writing or through their interviews in general. It's a lot of pressure to try to please the people who like you for who you are, but also the people who want something new out of you. And that balance is very hard to create. And if you feel like Pratik Kuhad's last album was not much different than the album before that, or that you think that he just has a bigger sound but nothing new to offer, that could be your personal opinion. And him getting mainstream is again just because everyone around you knows them and there's nothing special left in the discovery or something that is yours and yours alone. Celebrate his success, man. ऐसे type के लोग मिलते नहीं हैं who create the kind of success being singer-songwriters. He's not some big, loud rock artist trying, like, begging for attention. He's doing what he's doing and still getting as much fame and listenership and just the kind of fandom that he has. I appreciate it. I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest Pratik Kuhad fan personally, but do I appreciate everything he's doing? Yes, I do.
Right. I get that. What do you think? I feel like that also comes, like how the media represents artists also plays a part in something like that. How do you feel like? What's your take on on how the media represents pop artists, for example, like your Bohemian Rhapsody, Selena?
Right.
How did you feel about either of these movies?
So big ups to someone like a Rami Malek actually winning an Oscar for this movie, but I have a confession to make. I still haven't watched Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay.
I don't know why, but for whatever reviews I read, even though the points that were in any way criticizing the movie and talking about how some things were not represented correctly were exactly the point I was hoping would be represented correctly, and because they weren't, I wasn't interested in watching. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So I was like, no, then never mind. Because about the music, I've watched the Queen documentary before. I've heard a lot about them through their interviews and the stories that others keep sharing, other pop stars keep sharing about their influence through Queen, from Queen. I mean. Do I need to watch this fictionalized account of it? Not really. It really depends on how much you like an artist and how much of the media that surrounds them you're willing to follow. There are still a lot of people who will be very ignorant of the fact or pretty much just deny knowing that there's so much news out there that Michael Jackson's claims about all the stuff that happened with the children that he was involved with or that he had any kind of connection with could be true. We are not 100% sure. I didn't really go into doing the research to find the informed decision. Did he not? Do I believe it? Do I believe it not? I honestly didn't want to do that research because I was just very
It's just
triggered by the idea of just going through that and hearing those stories and just feeling so sad that I was like, I'm not willing to believe anything, but I do kind of feel like I don't want to in any way engage in stories about or the fandom behind Michael Jackson. People start talking about how much they love MJ, and that thought just keeps looping in my head. I don't judge you for liking MJ. I still enjoy the music, but it is hard to separate the art from the artist when you hear such a story. But yeah, it really depends on how much you're willing to engage in the media that is representing an artist.
Yes, and I think. But then that also makes the consumer's responsibility somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's a vicious circle.
I get that, but the consumers, I'm sorry, when you said it's the consumer's responsibility, and I also pretty much said all the things I said right now, I feel like redacting some of it, because it kind of sounds like it's your fault because you wore that. Yeah, I mean, why can't the media be more informed and be human and be a little diplomatic rather than try to tarnish their representation? Their image.
Yeah, but then that also varies, right? In some cases, like for example, if you have someone like a Chris Brown or Rihanna,
right?
And I feel like they were doing It's
I get that.
and even I find it because I remember growing up, loving his work.
Same. Oh my
And
God.
there was
With
sometimes
you. With you was my favorite Chris Brown song. Yeah, I used to love singing it.
yeah, and there was a point where I heard I Can Transform You After So Long, and it's like, oh, this
Yeah.
guy's so and then I had to pause, and I said, wait, no, he physically abused
Yeah.
her, and then it took me a while to try and do that because I
Yeah.
can't. Radha says,
Oh
the
yeah, I've not read
concept
anything.
the concept of separating craft from the artist gives people an excuse. What do you think? An excuse for what?
An excuse for all those memories you've created in how much you enjoyed someone's work of art, and feeling like you're in some way denying that experience because you have to now deny the artist for who they are as a person. I get it. I have some beautiful memories dancing to Michael Jackson on my bed with my sister, and now it just makes me kind of cringe. Do I want to try and ignore that and still hold them as good memories? I kind of do. Do I want to forget that Michael Jackson may have done all of those things? I don't. It's tricky.
Yeah, I wasn't that big of a fan of his, so I was quite, indifferent to that idea. On one hand, he did that whole Super Bowl performance with the kids.
Right.
I don't know if you watched that video. It's a beautifully produced video. And on the other hand, you get reports of him sexually molesting and assaulting children.
Exactly. And it's just it's funny, I took a music production course for a short while, and just trying to understand how sound works and sound engineering can work. And one of the videos that I was watching that was just giving me some good insight into how a song is mixed and whatnot had a very good example and a very good reference point of the song Thriller by Michael Jackson. And I appreciated every single thing the producer of that song has done in terms of creating that song. But again, that thought was looming in my head. Should I pause and and skip to the part after this? Or should I just study the song because it's just a piece of work that I'm trying to study? It's very weird. It kind of follows you everywhere if you have that kind of a conscience, or if you're trying to not ignore something like this.
Yeah, I get that. On a lighter note, can you
Oh yeah, we should come back to Indian indie music for
Yeah.
God's sake. Like those white pop stars. Sorry, he was black. Anyway, those Western pop stars can take a break.
That's debatable. And I don't, possibly, I found that quite sad in some sense.
Right.
But coming back on a lighter note, who are your favorite, or who do you think are the most promising indie artists right now?
Oh, fun. I wish some of them were here right now so I could just shout them out and say, hey, I love you. I mean, some of them might still be there. No, see, Yatharth and Karshmi still there. Say hi.
You can do it on the story.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. I have a page called Indie Find if someone is just tuning in. It's at indie.find, and I, for the last year, have been playlisting and posting, a couple of videos a month of any gigs that I may have attended and some live music footage of a certain artist that I want to feature and shout out through my page. I can't believe that. I think a lot of it has just got to do with a community sense of sharing the fact that I made a playlist. I tagged 9 artists. Those artists possibly reshared that on their story or told their friends that, hey, I have a feature, check it out. My playlist on Spotify get followers. My page is getting. I'm celebrating the fact that I've gotten 1,000 plus followers on Define's page now, which I'm very happy about. All I do is post 2 videos and 1 playlist a month, and people care to actually follow that. It's kind of mind blowing to me. But I had a top 10 in the year of 2019, which I was very proud of. It took a long time to try and figure out what my top 10 was. I hate picking favorites. But some of those artists. I'm sorry?
Just let Spotify do
that. Spotify helps me discover a lot of good new music. A big shout out to all the other sources from which I find out about releases and then try and figure out which ones make it into my playlist according to what I found was interesting or, in my top 10 for that month. Indian Music Diaries, Rolling Stone India, A Humming Heart, and some other curators like me who are just doing it out of passion and just doing
Like
it
Made in India.
randomly. Oh God, how could I forget? Yes, of course, Made in India. And definitely even some people like Step Into Desi and the Chennai music scene, which are two pages that I follow. They're just doing great work in themselves and creating playlists all the time. I just wanted to give that kind of preface because the top 10 new artists in 2020 that I had listed, I would like to list that out again to you. On my top 10 would, of course, be Kashi Nair, who, congratulations, girl, she just got picked up by Pagal High, now the management company that does, or at least used to, manage Pratik Kuhar as well. So that girl is already on her way to get there.
Oh, wow.
Kashni has been a good friend that I actually, like Pune girl, actually met at a World Music Day open mic organized by our mutual friend Prithvi, and you were also involved, I remember. And she literally went right after me on stage, and I heard her, and I'm like, oh my God, this girl's going to be something. She's going to be something. She did the So Far third year anniversary gig, and right before she went up on stage, you were there too. Right before she went up on stage, I told her, Kashni, don't worry about it. She was just feeling nervous and something's going on in her head. Don't be nervous. You deserve more than this. Like, since there are only 6 people here, I can say that and and kind of belittle the very cause that I do. But I love So Far Pune. I just think that, yes, what we are doing is pretty cool, but there are bigger stages for an artist to grow and really find that kind of visibility. And I think someone like Akarshan deserves that. And I told her that right before she went on stage. And now Pagal Hai, and next, I think, headlining some festivals. I know. Park Circus from Kolkata, they are amazing. If you haven't heard them, please check them out. Park Circus.
Hello. I don't see you. Yes.
I'm so sorry. Your face was just frozen. I switched off my Instagram and restarted it to find you.
Okay. No, I just get awkward when I have to be live and talk to people because then it's just weird because I'm talking to a camera at the end of the day. My hair is looking great. Sorry.
I just saw you a minute ago, like going live. Like, how long were you sitting there awkwardly waiting?
We're at 2 minutes 45 seconds right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, cool.
No, it's okay. I'm just looking at my head. I'm like, what is going on?
You're looking nice. You're looking fly.
I know. I love it. I love it. My hair just becomes curly sometimes. It's like I don't have to spend on a stylist. So I'm quite glad about that. Thanks,
Sweet.
Mom, for your jeans. I think my mom is watching, so thanks. So coming back, you were telling me in the previous video about your top 10 favorite and the most promising indie artists that you've seen.
Right. Oh, I must say, like, it is really sweet of you. I know we were hoping to be under 1 hour, and we're doing a second part now, so that's cool.
Oh, that's okay.
I tend to speak a lot. You can cut me off far more than you did. I'll go a little faster now. I said Kashni Nair has to be one of my top 10. So does definitely Park Circus. I love this duo called Nothing Anonymous. That for the few people watching over here, some insider information as the artist manager at So Far Pune. They were actually scheduled to perform in March, the last gig that we were supposed to do, and it got cancelled. Nothing Anonymous were in my top 10 best artists of this current year now. And we were going to see them perform live also. I'd never seen them perform live, and I literally asked them if they'd come down to Pune from Bombay to perform. And that sadly didn't work out. But they're an indie electronic duo. It's a male-female duo, and the male counterpart, please, I'm so sorry, forgive me for not being able to remember your name right now, is also part of another act that I really like. He's a new album as well. And now, I'm completely losing my memory right now. I can't remember.
It's okay.
They released an album called Charlie Dreams of Escape. Can someone please remind me if you're watching and you know this artist, this electronic duo artist?
I'm looking it up.
Who have an album called Charlie Dreams of Escape. He's also part of that band, and he just got married on Zoom. It was so cute. I saw his story. Yeah.
How?
Well, yeah, his fiancée and maybe some close family members were already quarantined together, or they broke quarantine, and they got married, and everyone else joined in through Zoom.
Oh, wow. So the group is called Ape Echoes?
Ape Echoes, of course. Yes, of
So
course.
they're under Nritya. Okay.
Yeah, they are under Nritya. If I'm not wrong, so is Nothing Anonymous. Another artist, of course, Osho Jain, such a beautiful soul. If there has to be someone right now in Hindi, singer-songwriter, pop, and also just having that kind of a very strong footing in Urdu language being translated into modern singer-songwriter pop, it would be Osho Jain. Oh my God. Him and Sameer Rahat, they are both amazing. And
Yeah, I
Osho
like
Jain,
Sameer Rahat a lot.
oh yeah, of course. Sameer is amazing as well. He was not part of my initial top 10 list, but I'm starting to see that he's really gaining that clout. He might be on my top 10 for 2021. Let's see how the year progresses.
Yes, let's see how you do it, Sameer. You've got to do it.
Yeah, you got to make it to my list.
Yeah.
Osho Jain has this viral, famous ukulele song called Kuch To Hai Na, which one of my students actually covered at Strum Away and killed it. That video is coming out on my YouTube channel soon.
Ooh.
Plug.
Yeah, plugs.
And who else was on that list of mine? Let me see. I know that they're not a new. I'm sorry?
I just feel free to shamelessly plug yourself. It's fine. You've got Indefiant, you've got Ukulele with Love, you've got Strum Away, you've got So Far. Just keep plugging. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm part of some of them, half of them anyway, so I have no problem.
Oh, let me take a second to plug my dear friend Sanghamitra on the other end of this live, who has been a photographer for half the projects that I lead. Actually, all of them. You've also done photography for an Indefined event with Cinema of Excess. You've definitely you've done Strum Away, and you've been the photography and videography lead for So Far Pune for a year now. So yeah, it's just a lot of feathers under your cap. This has been completely nepotistic and biased.
Yeah.
Calling me all like we've known each other and worked together
For so long.
Yeah, for so long. Like, I'm no one new to her. She's no one new to me, but I love her so much. And
I love her too.
I was going to save this towards the end and embarrass you with a fun story, but I will do it right now since we're on that tangent. Sanghamitra Shastri over here, I met her at a friend's party almost 2 or 3 years ago. And I think she was now going through the best of a day, or maybe the best of a phase in life. But I thought that this person is possibly going through a lot of shit, and just I could sense that aura of some kind of negativity going on in your life.
That
And I
exists.
thought, yeah, and I thought this girl, I think she's really smart, and she has some potential to be someone really cool that I would like to be friends with, but I can't really get past whatever's happening in this initial impression that I'm getting from her. I have every time that I've met you since then have kind of just let go of that initial impression. You know how first impressions can really stick with you?
But
And
whose party
you have
was this?
been the greatest example of someone's first impression being completely wrong in my head. And
Oh yeah, that's so many people.
Yeah, and I think
who was that person?
I think things just possibly got slightly better in your life later on, or it just takes some time for someone to see that you're a gem of a person. I would just like to say that.
But wait, whose party was this?
Casey's, of course.
Sweetheart, that's not the first time we met.
When did we first meet then?
In Vadias, in college. We're college friends.
Wait, Sanghamitra, I know
With
we both
Ravina.
were in Vadias. We had seen each other in Vadias.
We met each other regularly. We met each other through Ravina and Dheeraj. To Dheeraj more.
When did we sit and actually have like a conversation that we both would remember?
At Connaught Place. What are you talking about?
Remind me of one conversation we had during Vadias that was memorable. I think at Casey's party we talked.
I properly talked, maybe. Yeah, that was a very bad day. My God.
Yeah, I could see.
That's all. It wasn't it was horrid.
Okay, coming back to what?
I remember that day. My God, I don't even want to go back there. But no, but we met in school. So that's not the first time we met. So the first impression of me was that kid from college who chilled with the older people.
You don't tell me what my impression of you is.
But I'm just saying it's not the first time we met. That's all.
This interview is about. Sorry about my language. What this interview is about. You can cut that out, hopefully.
I mean, not from the live video. So I hope your mom's going to watch this because my mom is watching this right now.
Hello, Auntie Ji. I just learned that word yesterday. Sorry.
Coming back to your top 10.
Okay, coming back to my top 10. We have some really interesting artists. I think I'm very gravitated towards people who are in the realm of doing soul and R&B music and
Yeah.
electronic music and singer-songwriter music. That's just where I see myself as an artist, not only exploring and discovering music of that type, but also possibly wanting to play such music. God, it's taken me a second to just recall that entire list. I wish I had it written down in front of me. Another artist who was not on my list, but I think has a bright future and has been really progressively showing a lot of different ways that they are really someone to watch out for in the electronic scene is Three Oscillators, Bridge
Yes.
Dalby,
Yeah, very good.
who actually was someone I met when he was 14. He's my best friend's cousin.
Oh, wow.
And literally known him as a little child. And now he's just turned into this huge ass artist in the electronic scene. Love reproduce artists and whatever they do. I discovered and found out that he's an artist himself because of Reproduce and the underground electronic and indie acts that they host in different cities and different spaces. Tifa being one of the centers of such things in
Yeah. Tifa is doing some great webinars right now.
Tifa, all the artists that they are getting a hold of to do these takeovers, they got Sajid Wajid recently, they got Shilo Shiv Suleiman. I love them. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I usually get so pissed off and repulsed by any page that has like so many dots on their story. Like they've posted more than 50 stories in a day, and I'm like, I'm not going to watch this. But Tifa has been a big a big exception to that because I want to see everything that the artist has posted that has taken over.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, I will keep it to my top 5. I'll just give you one more name that I really like, and we can move on to another question or talk about something else. Last one. I should give it to someone that I really am digging right now that I would like to talk about and see that there's a lot going on that is very promising. Who should that be? Oh yeah, J Babe. Like
Oh.
I know the guy already has a lot of kickstart as an artist out there who already has his foot in the door as one of the vocalists of the F-16s. But my God, the way he's pivoted in what he's done with J Babe as his solo project is amazing.
Oh, I love J-Babe. His work, like I remember looking at the album name and it's so long. I don't even remember it. I'm actually going to look it up because that dude, his voice.
It's a quote from a book or something, if I'm not wrong.
Really? I thought he just came up with it. I thought it was one of the most ingenious album names I have ever heard of.
Dude,
so
it's a
for those
quote
of you
I read
listening,
about. I googled that name to know if it was really something he came up with or is it a reference to something. It's either a lyric from a song or a quote from a book.
So this is the kind of stuff he, creates. His album name from 2019 is called "Play the Piano Drunk Like a Percussion Instrument Until the Fingers Begin to Bleed a Bit." And he has a track that says, "I'll get the check, we can split the regret." And I love it. It's a great vibe.
I particularly love his song and the way it drops at the very beginning after this very weird and dreamy intro. It's called a little bit of gay or a little amount of gay, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not. I have
Damn
to
fun.
check.
Oh, and I must say, I could not recall the name of this artist to be
a good amount. Sorry.
Yeah, a good amount. Yes. I could not recall this artist's name, even though he should have been at the top of my list and the first name that came up on the top of my head. Sorry, and no offense to any of the other artists that I just listed. Is because they had not released their proper debut piece of work by the time my list came out. But they are going to be on my 2021's top 10 new artists. Of course, Loyal.
Yeah.
Like, how the hell do you forget someone like him? He is a powerhouse and a force to be reckoned with as an artist. Like, people are madly underestimating and not giving him as much attention that he has deserved since the day he released his album.
His stage presence. My God, that boy is something else. His Instagram stories are very entertaining, but his stage presence is another level. It's ridiculous how great he is.
You don't know how much I love Loya. Like,
and his lyrics.
I've loved him since the first so far he did as
Our State of Mind.
Yeah, our state of mind. I call them awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
Because they are.
Yeah.
And then I literally asked him to do strum away without having any confidence if he even plays the ukulele or not. I knew he could figure it out because just his musicianship will shine through, even if he's bloody hell banging his hands on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I'm
he
sure he's
did
capable
so
of that.
well. He did a strum away gig, picked up the ukulele. He tells me later that he even more or less ad-libbed and completely improvised the words coming out of his mouth. There's just random musings that came out as lyrics of the song that he played on stage. And I'm like, that was not a song you wrote. That's something you came up with. You were
These
writing a song
musicians,
on stage.
these musicians and their word vomit, no? Sometimes I don't
Yeah.
like it. I
Now
want
that I
that
hear it, I can't
level of
understand the
confidence.
word. Now that I hear his performance back, I can't understand what one sentence means after the other. So I guess he was just randomly coming up with stuff on stage, which is amazing.
But yeah, props to him. So tell me a little more about Stumaway.
Oh yes, fun. Okay. Ukulele with Love just started as a random name on a poster created by my dear friend Anada Menon, who has gone on to design so many different things for the sake of Ukulele with Love, and a ukulele player herself. I love to say that out of almost 10 visual artists that I've engaged with who have created some or the other poster or merchandise for my platform or for the events that I host, half of them, I think more than half of them, play the ukulele themselves. It's just so nice to meet other artists who understand the instrument and how much they love it themselves to want to create some art to support this community and this little dream that I have. But Strumaway just started as a space for me. I thought, okay, I could have a student recital of sorts or a showcase where my students get to perform for their friends and family. Very intimate, 20, 30 people max, nothing too intimidating for someone who's trying to perform for the first time. I remember playing the guitar for the first time in front of an audience that had my best friend and my mom watching me. And it was maybe 15 people, and that also just was
Yeah, I can
so
imagine.
nerve-wracking. So I'm like, you know what, let's keep it small and intimate. It will still be a very nice and encouraging crowd. I'm sure every person who's out there has a friend who's going to go on stage, and they understand that they need to sit through some amount of awkwardness and someone may be messing up on stage. But the fact that my students are showing the balls to actually go on stage, showing the nerve to go on stage and talk about and display what they've been working on for the past few months, I thought, why not give it a name and make it a sort of an event that can have its own editions and its own reproductions every few months. So I named it Strum Away. I had some initial backlash on it, saying Strum Away sounds like shoo away, and it sounds a little dismissive. And I'm like, no, my idea of strumming away is like going away into the distance. Like that is kind of elevating you to go to the next level. That's the context I thought the name fits well in. And ukulele is a strummer's instrument, it just is, so it made sense. It's going to be 2 years, by the way. The next Strumaway that I host will be the second year anniversary of Strumaway and the seventh.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to
You've
be
done
the seventh.
7 of these so far.
Yeah, I will be doing the seventh one now. Yes.
That's
We've done
brilliant.
6 of these by now. The first one was a workshop come student showcase. The second one was a student showcase come open mic. The third one was a student showcase, open mic, and a feature artist set. And then that particular format has gone ahead. You did the first one, I believe, with the Murphys one,
At Murphy.
where that was the third one, and that one was the solidified structure that is going on till date. There will be a student showcase of maybe half an hour with 5 or 6 of my students who've just graduated beginner or intermediate. Some of them who are watching this right now, my graduate
Trisha is
students.
here.
Yeah, Trisha is there. Trisha.
Hi, Trisha.
And then an open mic with a lot of my friends or maybe even ex-students who would like to do something fun and come back to the stage to perform at Strumaway, and then a feature set which had 2 of our really close friends, Nida and Vishwa, perform.
I don't know if they're still here. Vishwa was just here and he left.
Big shout out to Vishwa, to Nida,
Major.
Radhika, all the people, even the recent ones for the Instagram live feature set that they did, Anisha and Jay, like just such amazing talents, and the fact that they're using the ukulele to create original music or that they're extending their original music to play on the ukulele as well.
Yeah.
Even if it's a one-time deal to try and do something new on a stage like ours, it's just very nice to see that independent music, this is the lovely marriage and of synergies that I believe in: independent musicians and independent music, and then them using the ukulele as their instrument, some either as a secondary or some as a primary instrument to express themselves through the music that they write. So very grateful that all of this has come together, and we've done 6 editions of it to just let people see that the ukulele is no laughing matter. It's not just a chota guitar that that can be used as a little gag to play happy birthday. It can be a proper instrument that deserves its own space in terms of original music and the appreciation of music in general. And the Goa Ukulele Festival also, just in its own way, they didn't realize what they did for someone like me sitting in Pune. They validated the fact that an instrument like this can have a festival. A small scale do-it-yourself festival, great. It doesn't need to be something that's being hyped on Book My Show and Times of India. It's fine.
Yeah.
The fact someone thought that it could be an event bigger than it needs to be, and got 100 people to come for the first one, and almost 200 to 300 people for the second.
That is a lot.
Yeah, it's still a lot. It's 2 editions that they've done. I went alone for the first time, did a workshop, did a performance. The second one, I told all my students and friends, hey, do you all want to come along for the next one? And I managed to convince and get 12 people with me. And we, as a group of 12 people, performed together at the second edition of...
Wow. And I feel so bad that I missed that.
You should have been there. It was so lovely.
I know.
It felt so nice. As I said, I feel like I'm kind of friends with my own students. That Goa trip actually solidified that. We just got to hang out with each other and know each other on a more personal level and just have more fun experiences traveling together and performing together on stage over there. It was, we had a very good audience and a lot of people just wanting to see, an entire group of people performing together. Let's see what this is about. So I was very happy by the response that we got there on stage as well. Made the whole trip worth it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Have you written any originals, by the way, that I don't know of? I'm not sure.
I've written 3 original songs. Nothing has been recorded professionally to put out there online because I still feel like I'm trying to figure out what I want to do as a musician that writes their own music. And I feel like I've not given that much time and effort into figuring it out because I've been very comfortable with all the things that I do in music already. To put myself through that kind of, and every musician will know, it's kind of a internalized pressure of your own trying to push yourself to go out there, write some more music, see what your voice is, what you want to say through your music, and how you want to just, on a more monetary and economical sense, try to gather the sources to be able to afford to record. And all of that is somewhere that I'm finding some of the other obstacle that's not getting me to do more than I have yet. But I do intend to give it a genuine shot now that there's all this time and all this space to introspect. I'm like, why can't I just work on it and see if I would like to be a performer and a recording artist in my future as well? Like, there's a lot of time in general in my life to do everything and anything. So, especially in the music realm. So 2 of them have been songs I've written myself. One has been an instrumental piece that I've written with my friend Akashita. You know Akashita as well.
Yeah.
And we recorded a demo of that, which we didn't really release because it wasn't quite there yet. It wasn't really all that well done. But we have a very solid song we've written together. Nida is over here. We literally got on a Instagram call and were discussing ideas to try and collaborate and write a song together. And I'm in the middle of writing and finishing my 4th song with Nida.
Oh wow! I want you to actually release all of this, so I can share the life out of it. But now speaking of having the time now to be able to maybe project your energy towards things like this or things that matter. What do you think are your advantages or limitations as a teacher, as a performer, as someone who consumes, who's an avid indie music consumer or an indie gig consumer? What do you think are your advantages and limitations right now with the lockdown?
That's a beautiful question. Thank you for asking that. I think a lot of people don't realize that they have definitely some amount of obstacles in possibly the kind of equipment that they couldn't managed to or couldn't afford to or didn't think was required to acquire before this lockdown. And I feel for me that was possibly getting a decent-ish USB mic that I could connect to my laptop and record whatever music ideas that I have. So the one thing that I don't want to just share as an experience, but also give somewhat of a insight on, or maybe a little bit of a push or an advice to people, take it or leave it. I think at any time that the lockdown is lifted, even for a day, that gives you an opportunity to go out there and maybe physically find, because ordering something online and then not receiving it because of n number of reasons, obvious reasons, is one thing. If there's any store that's open that in any way gives you the equipment that you need for video content creation, for music, for anything that you feel you couldn't have access because those kinds of stores were just not open because they're not non-essential goods stores. Get it, borrow money, take it on EMI, loan from your parents, just take it, because if there's any particular reason, sorry for being so morbid, but if there's any reason that the lockdown is put up again for any kind of human error or stupidity that causes us to possibly get pulled up in our houses again, at least you'll have the equipment that helps you create
if they can do it for
and
liquor shops, why not for
things
this?
while you're
Yeah.
right. I mean, I'm literally thinking of trying and investing in a DSLR and a mic, and like, well, if I have to just live at my home and try to make an income by making YouTube tutorials, I'll do it. Like, hey, if y'all want ukulele tutorial videos on my channel, say yes, give me a thumbs up.
Yes. let Love know, because I'm sure you will have a great time doing that.
I think I will too. I think it'll be a lot of fun to just interact with the camera, but in that sense, just putting out the kind of content that sticks there for people to actually take resource and reference from, and how they can improve, and what my idea of sharing knowledge and information is when it comes to music. I feel like I've gotten some things right, and I'm very good at teaching them quickly. Some things I'm still trying to figure out how to be a better teacher to my students. But I think lockdown getting people to spend more time to create more, because there are not a lot of income sources in general for someone like a performer, either do dance or theatre or music, or more other forms that way, where a lot of the income is based on you just putting yourself out there on a stage and entertaining people. Which is not is either happening on a very diminished scale by you doing some kind of online concert that pays you, or you being someone who's an artist on Patreon where people are backing your work up and you're still sharing what you can, or even someone like a Peter Cat recording company that already have a good enough base and a lot of people, I believe, who are backing them even in monetary senses, maybe getting them to do online concerts and stuff for a decent fee. They still have put out a full album of their, and it's a very bold and cool move for them to put an entire album of their rejected tracks only on Bandcamp and on InstaMojo for people to buy and support their music by not just streaming it, because they're not allowing it anymore. You have to buy their music and support them that way to be able to access it. I think if any band will be able to sell, they'll be able to sell for hard cash. So. And lastly, I'd just like to say the advantage right now in my personal experience, and what I'm really seeing, I'm so glad about. A lot of my friends were either already teaching but not really publicly promoting it because they wanted to just be known for the performer or the recording artist that they are, but they also had some students who had requested them personally to take them on as mentors, as mentees, and they would mentor them. They are actually coming out to let people know that this is the good time. Oh, you okay?
I'm okay. My phone fell. It's because it's charging and it's resting on my laptop right now. That's why.
Oh man, in my point of view, it felt like you fell, and I was like, "Are you okay? Can I help you up?"
I'm quite capable of something like that, to be very honest. So, and you know that you fall, just walk and fall down, so it's fine. It's the ground's fault, not mine.
Okay, so yeah, it's so nice to see. I literally started a little bit of a hashtag where I have my stories shared. Some of these artists that I listen to, enjoy, and look up to as musicians are now actually taking on students to teach other people what they do best. And I took on a teacher, Vinay Kaushal of Funkatrix is now my teacher, and try to understand improvisation techniques and music theory. I'm interested in jazz theory, but there's still some time for me to get there. And it's very humbling and almost intimidating to be learning from someone like him. I feel like I can't catch up, but I know I will only come out of it being a better musician. So any musician out there who thinks they can afford to learn more, and any musician who thinks they have the skill and the knowledge from someone else to get them to to get them up to a higher level of musicianship as well. I encourage it. Please consider teaching any art that you think you're good at.
Yeah.
You still there, Sanghamitra?
Yeah, I am. It's just my screen went. Sorry.
Okay. So yeah. Do consider teaching. Let me know if you're teaching something specific to music. I will do a shout out for you and let people know that they should follow you for music that you
Yes,
are willing to
teacher
teach.
feature.
Teacher feature. And
Yes,
also just the sheer amount of visibility I'm getting around the world with my page at Ukulele with Love. I mean, it's not huge according to someone else's standards, but for me doing it for the last 2 years and just randomly realizing, oh, there have been people in Hyderabad watching my stories and following my work for a year now, and because they found out I do online classes, they wanted to learn. I have 2 students in Hyderabad, one in New York, and I'm starting with one who's from Toronto, Canada. And I'm like, I never thought I will, I was almost forced to go online and teach from there, even though I thought I had the worst internet and I would never be able to manage taking online classes and understanding how to do it well enough. I used to turn down people who would ask me in this last year. I used to get at least one inquiry a month saying, do you do online classes? And I would say, no, not really. And now that I'm doing it, I'm getting to teach people who are not even in the same city and just trying to get more people to know who I am sitting here in my room in Pune. While someone in Canada also, gets the opportunity to learn and also let her friends and people around them know that, I'm right here, existing, willing to teach.
Yeah. I'm glad you getting those experiences through this. I mean, it eventually makes you realize the kind of avenues you have open for you.
Exactly. I'm surprised people are still finding the time and the mental space to want to learn music because, I mean, from personal point of view, I've been taking a lot of time to learn new things, especially in music and otherwise as well. And of course, other people are doing that as well. It's just that anyone else who has a full-time job that is not like mine, which involves engaging in an art, I wonder how do they really take a mental space out to take an hour out or 2 hours out to take classes like mine and also try and develop something which could be a passion or something leisurely like playing music for them. But the fact that they're doing it, that they are actually helping support an artist and helping them make an income off of teaching them something that they enjoy, while me getting to enjoy what I do as well, for the sake of an income and also for the sake of just furthering music out there and letting people know that just general music literacy and adult education, something I really believe, and a lot of us have not learned anything worthwhile in our school days. I definitely believe that. I feel like I learned a lot about what I want to do and how I want to do it and how to do well after graduating college. And a lot of people are just trying to find their passion and get good at something after their entire college student life has gone past them. And me trying to help them to do that through music, if that's what they want to do, if they want to learn the ukulele and go up on stage and perform one day, I'm happy to be that source to get them to take a step ahead there in that direction.
Yeah, that is, I agree with what you want to do, and I hope you do. I think you're going to do really well with that.
I hope so. Yeah, my next plan is to try and get into schools and actually, bite the bullet and get myself to teach more children and feel more comfortable doing that, and also try to get more children to be interested in the instrument and just interested in learning an instrument and music as a way to express themselves creatively.
Right. Before I wrap up, I have one last question for you. This was a question we got in the first live video, which I couldn't take at that point. Is
Right.
how can someone tone deaf or someone who is tone deaf, is it
Right.
easy for them to understand the ukulele or to be able to play it?
So it always helps when you have something like an intuitive sense of rhythm and also possibly an idea of how to be able to understand a certain pitch. I'm not asking you that if I sing, you should be able to tell what that note is. That is called perfect pitch. And people are abusing that talent if they have it by being a viral star on the internet, saying, oh, I can tell what note that is by just listening to it. people abuse it out of Charlie Puth. Any interview he does, they're just like, "Oh, I'm gonna play the Facebook Messenger notification tone. Tell me what particular musical notes they are, and
Yeah,
challenge."
you must get
them."
so tired of that.
Yeah, that is bullshit. Anyway, um, that I don't know why I feel like saying humbug like Scrooge.
Yeah,
Anyway,
bag.
I played the Ghost of Christmas Present in sixth standard
Wow.
in the Sardar Dastur was their co-ed high school's
Right.
sixth standard
Love
production of Christmas Carol. I tend to blab and just go in different directions. Okay, coming back. Sorry, what was the question again?
How can someone tone deaf
Right.
take up the uke? I mean, is it difficult for that person to understand the nature of the instrument and work with it?
I've always seen students of mine who have not only had a decent voice and a ability to carry a tune with their voices. That is one thing, to be able to do it, and then being confident enough to show that off in class when I ask you to try and sing. Those people also excel a little more because they may have come with that little bit of an inner, confidence and a will that, yes, I've come here because I like singing and I would like to further that by also being able to play. Because they can sing, because they are willing to try, practice, and not show any kind of awkwardness in terms of showing what they have learned and then getting feedback from you. I have seen that they can tend to do better than students. And here, this is not me talking about, oh, if you're not very good at understanding one pitch from the other, or that you can't sing a certain scale, that you can't do this. If you are willing to make mistakes and not feel so anxious about, oh, I need to sing in front of, or I need to be able to understand the tonal difference between two certain chords or two certain notes in front of this person who's like some kind of an authority figure teacher standing in front of them. Because I myself get nervous if I'm trying to perform in front of someone who is possibly a more learned musician than me. And I'm like, oh my God, they're going to judge that I don't know as much as them. But really, it's a matter of just trying to raise each other up and getting them to see that they can do this. I believe that if you are not very good at understanding the difference between pitches and you feel like you're tone deaf, which I don't think tone deaf is a real thing. It's a matter of how much you've exposed yourself to music. Do you think that you actually listen to music as often and try to sing along to something? Sometimes it's just a matter of sitting down and listening to something as simple as someone chanting Om and seeing if you can try and match the pitch in which they're chanting that Om. If you can do at least that, you can possibly take it one step at a time and get good at even being able to sing an entire song in the same pitch and the same um, uh, musical scale that the artist is using. It's an upward climb, and I'm not completely right in what I just said right now because I feel like I've been intuitively been able to sing decently and understand pitch and hold the scale that I can also believe others can. Some people do struggle. I've seen my students struggle, but more than not being able to do it, they have accepted the fact that they can't do it and they feel defeated before they even try. That's what I don't like, and that I would never, try and accept from a student of mine that they say, "Oh no, I can't sing it because I feel like I will mess it up," or "I tried, but you're not going to like it." It doesn't matter. It's not a singing class. You here are trying to learn more about rhythm in being able to play an instrument than even the scale of the notes. Vinay taught me and just shared something which was so obvious to me. I knew it, but it's so nice to hear it being articulated. More than half of music is the rhythm. Rest of it is the melody or understanding the scales and the harmonies. So if you get good at rhythm, it can really take you far as well as a musician.
Yeah, I get it.
So yeah, that's what I would like to say about that.
Okay, thank you. This brings us to the end of this take, which had so many glitches. It's not even
I
funny.
know we went on for like 2 hours or more.
Almost 2 hours now. It's funny, my laptop has been telling me that the time, I was doing a time check and it said it's been saying 6:28 p.m. for the past 15 minutes. So I don't know what's up with it. But thank you for coming on board. This was really, really fun. It was so
And
informative.
it's sorry for you.
Yes, yes. I don't know what to do when someone is playing, so I'm going to just go away from the frame
No.
and listen and then come back. But okay.
Be at the edge of the frame, but don't leave it. People will think I'm playing for no one. That'll be weird.
Oh no, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I asked you for the link to your playlist, which you had mentioned a few days ago, because I want to see if there's a song in there that I know how to play, so I can play you a song from your playlist. This one, thank you for reminding me about this song. Now I feel like we've talked for so long, I've almost forgotten how it went because I just taught the chords to myself randomly.
Take your time. Take your time.
Cause I'm still in love with you. I won't see you dance again. Cause I'm still in love with you. Oh, this hurts no. So yes, thank you so much for reminding me of Harvest Moon by Neil Young. I love that song.
Yes, I was doing a live thing with playlists, and Rohan reminded me of the song actually. Rohan from
Sweet.
Moonshine. So yeah, it's quite fun. But
Sweet.
thank you for coming on board. This was a lot of fun, and I am going to sleep like a baby again, which I really love. And yeah, I hope you thrive and you flourish, and you get on as many students as possible and spread the love, that you feel for the
Spread the
ukulele.
love.
Spread
It
the
always
love.
sounds dirty when it comes across that way.
Yeah, you share the love. It's
Share
not
the love for
dirty.
sure.
Okay. This is a PG-13 audience, might I remind you. So,
For sure.
but
Also,
yeah,
thank you so much for having me and for considering that I have a story to share with Shastri. And really lovely 6th week, doing this twice a week, every week. That is some commitment to it.
yeah.
So kudos on that. Kudos on that. And I
you.
see you're getting so much more comfortable in just doing this. And with me,
We
too,
do
I
in
knew
front
you
of the
didn't have
camera.
that much of a deal anyway. But
Yeah, but
this has
thank you
just
for
been such a fun conversation.
this was I really enjoyed myself, and thank you so much in general.
Thank you so much. Chal, you take care.
Bye, you too.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.
See you guys. Okay, that was Love, the lovely Love. And I love him so, I love Love so much. And there's so much love for Love. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. And I'm sorry for all the technical glitches. I know this is split into 3 videos because the second one just zonked. Uh, and yeah, if you like this, please let me know what you liked. If you have any feedback about this, please give it to me. Love takes online ukulele classes. You need to register if you're interested. He's very good. I've seen him deal with his students, and I really love the entire vibe that he creates for them. It's very heartwarming. And yeah, and you want to be friends with him if you want new music. Trust me on that one. It's a personal anecdote. And so this is Stories for Shastri. Bye.